Is creativity inherent, a talent acquired at birth by a select few, or is it a learned skill, honed with patience and practice, and available to the masses?
Well, the answer might surprise you, or not. I don't know, let's find out. First things first, is creativity born? Short answer, yes it is. Creativity is technically inherited, but by everyone. It's more of a common human trait than a gift. Oprah doesn't come to every nursery and starts handing out creativity to babies, you know. And the fact that creativity is a common human trait has been proven all the way back in 1968. George Land conducted a research study on kids aged 5, 10, 15, and on adults that is now known as the creativity test. By giving them this test, Land was able to measure their creativity levels on a scale of 0 to 100%, and the results were staggering. The creativity in 5-year-olds was 98%. Every 5-year-old kid you've ever met is a creative genius. Want to take a wild guess what the percentage was when they reached 10 years old? The score plummeted to 30%. When they were tested again at 15, it was 12%. In just 10 years, we lose 86% of our creativity. That's insane. And now we come to adults. You've probably noticed a trend here, but get ready to be really depressed. Adults have a creativity score of around 2%. Yep, you heard me right, 2%. Now the question becomes, why? Why do we lose practically all of our creativity as we grow older? Many claim that our school systems kill creativity, daydreaming, and imperfection. But it's not as simple as that. Yes, school in its current form has a major role to play. There's even a quote by a journalism teacher and author, Esther Wojcicki. Children are innately creative, and it is educated out of them. So yes, school does have a role to play, but it's also society, the people we hang around with, our own inherent fear of failure, our personalities. The reasons why we lose our creativity are both external and internal. Now, before you jump off a cliff without a parachute, the good news is that while creativity is something that you're born with, it is also a teachable skill. We are all naturally creative, and like every other skill, some people have more natural talent than others. However, everyone can increase his or her creativity, just as everyone can increase his or her musical or athletic ability, with appropriate training and focused practice. And these skills can be learned, not from sitting in a lecture hall, but by learning and applying creative thinking processes. And it all starts with how we see creativity. It shouldn't be this unattainable goal that's so far out of reach we need to go to Mars to get it. We need to see it for what it really is, a mindset. Carol Tang, the executive director at the Children's Creativity Museum, says it plainly. Creativity is a set of skills, behaviors, attitudes, and beliefs, more akin to a mindset than a discrete skill. And this is corroborated by Esther. Creativity is a mindset. It is a way of looking at life. If you look at life the standard way, then there is no creativity involved. It is copying. If you're doing the same old thing other non-creative people are doing, well, you're not gonna do much better. That's why you always hear the cliche, think outside the box. But people who are creative know the truth. There is no box. There is no box. Creativity cannot be constrained. But we can. We can limit the creativity we put out by being afraid of taking risks and by not having confidence in our own abilities. I mentioned in my previous video that creativity has the added benefit of making us more confident. It also works the other way around. By having confidence in our abilities, we allow ourselves to become more creative. This is what Carol Tang refers to as creative confidence. She says that with creative confidence, children and adults are more likely to use their creativity skill set and continue to practice and improve those skills. And it's not just confidence. By simply learning what creativity is from a brain perspective, aka neuroscience, will lead you to become more creative. Sounds far-fetched? Well, there was a study about this, and this training led participants, on average, to increase their creativity score by almost 30%. And since Neo apparently has been on my mind, here's what filmmaker Alex Davis Lawrence has to say about creativity. Any approach to teaching creativity has to incorporate a combination of theory, practice, and time. Learning creativity has to be experiential to a certain extent, so it has to incorporate types of teaching that go beyond the classroom. Think of the classic "I know Kung Fu" scene in The Matrix. The skill of Kung Fu can be downloaded into Neo's brain, but it's only when using the Kung Fu in a fight with Morpheus when being faced with direct real-time problem solving related to that skill set, that he begins to actually learn. And it's only when those lessons have unfolded over time, over the course of various emotional states, different opponents, different goals, that Neo is able to fully realize the potential of his abilities. So, if you want to be creative, you have to practice, practice, practice.